Matthew Stuckey here from Verity Baptist Church Manila and Verity Baptist Church Pampanga with a quick missionary update. And this past week we had a total of 134 salvations. So this is by far the most we've had ever since this whole coronavirus started. We were really boosted this week because we had a big soul winning marathon on Tuesday, which is the Feast of the Immaculate Conception holiday here, celebrating the supposed sinless birth of Mary, that she was born without original sin and that she was sinless and everything like that. Obviously, we don't believe that. We don't teach that. But it was a good day to have a soul winning marathon, and we had 19 people from our church in 2 different locations go soul winning all day, and we had a total of 70 salvations. Now, that might seem like a lot of salvations in one day, 70. When you really break it down, it's just under 4 salvations per person. I personally had 3 salvations, which is good, but it's not just some outstanding number like 20 or something like that. Just a lot of people did put in a lot of work. Right now, we don't have the parks open like we used to, where as before we would have gone to some park and probably had a lot more salvations, where you can talk to groups of people, and there's a lot of young people out and about. You can really be selective with who you talk to and everything like that. But this was pretty much all door to door, and so I know the groups that I was in, we were just preaching the gospel pretty much the entire time, and so you're really thorough with our gospel presentation. Even in the afternoon session, me and my soul winning partner, I preached the gospel once, and he preached the gospel once, and all of a sudden we look at our clock, and I was thinking, we got time to hit another street, and it was almost time to go, because we both had very thorough gospel presentations, and we had to make sure that they got it. So pretty much we were just preaching the gospel the entire time. So it was a great day, and 134 salvations overall. Even outside of the 70 salvations, we still would have been over 60, which is good. And so results are definitely going higher. We're looking forward to doing a lot of activities and soul winning marathons this coming year. And obviously things are getting better here. I know in the U.S. and in other places it's getting more strict. Here, the rainy season is for the most part behind us now. People are going back to the parks. They're less strict than before. And so things are definitely going well for us right now. So hopefully that will continue. And obviously these are uncertain times, so you really just don't know what's going to happen. There's still a lot of restrictions and stuff like that, but not as much as before. I will say this, though, that the Philippines has been by far the strictest country in the world. So I kind of feel, I don't know, when I see a lot of people complaining about various things, I'm just thinking, man, you guys have it easy compared to what we have. I mean, we've had face masks required from the beginning, but they also require face shields here, which it's not required, but a lot of businesses do require it. And the government, they didn't, I'm not sure if they ever made it officially required, but at pretty much every business you're required to have face shields as well. And so I'm not really totally sure what the purpose of that is. It's almost like having 2 face masks on, but that's been required for a long time here. And also, it's still illegal to have young children out in public. Originally, it was if you're under the age of 21 or over the age of 60, you were not allowed in public. That lasted for a while, and they started to allow people that were elderly to be out. And slowly, they brought down the age range depending on what location of the Philippines. But as of now, I mean, if you have young children like me and my wife have, then they're not allowed out in public. And so things are getting less strict, so it doesn't seem as bad. But I would just try to encourage people, because I'll be honest, like 2020 has not been a depressing year for me. I mean, it hasn't been my favorite year. Obviously, I wish all this stuff hadn't happened. I wish that things weren't so restrictive. But honestly, the secret is not to dwell on things that bother you. I mean, if you spend all your time complaining and dwelling on things that bother you, it's only going to make you feel worse. And so when I see all the people complaining and stuff like that, I'm just thinking, man, the secret to not being as upset about it is just not focusing on it. And, especially if you're still able to serve God. And I understand, people find that statement offensive or whatever, but I'm just being honest. I've been able to go soul winning and still serve God. And yes, things are not like it is before, and we haven't been able to go out in public as a family and go to restaurants and things like that. But when life hands you lemons, you make lemonade out of it. That's just what it is. We need to realize that even this coming year, things might not be better than they were this year. I mean, at the way it's looking right now, it's just really hard to tell what's going to happen. Things are getting less strict here. We have no second wave because there is no cold season. It's just hot all year long. So I would assume the cold weather is what's increasing the amount of people having the flu or coronavirus or whatever, however they test things. We don't really have a second wave here. but so things are getting less strict here. But obviously, as they say, as goes the U.S., so goes the world. So we could very easily become more strict in the future. I'm not really sure, but it is what it is. So, anyways, in terms of sermons that I preached, actually this midweek service on Wednesday, Brother Mateus preached for us, and he's training for the ministry, and he's been getting some practice. He's been preaching once a month here recently, so he's doing a good job. And he preached on the love of money, and it's a sermon that he's obviously applied to his life, because he packed up his bags and moved to the Philippines by faith and just trusted that God was going to provide. And he found a job. He got married, and just everything's working out for him. And so, he preached on that. It was a great sermon. You can check it out. It's on our website. The love of money is the root of all evil. And then on Sunday, we're taking a bit of a break from our series, from going through the book of Romans and the Family Tip series, because we have 2 anniversaries in November. Then we have Christmas parties in December. So I want to get through those, and in 2 weeks I'll get back to our normal schedule. And so I preached kind of standalone sermons. I preached on the American Gospel, Christ Alone documentary, Exposed. It's a documentary that was put out by Calvinists. And sometimes I have things on in the background while I'm doing my work, and then sometimes certain things come up as sermon material, and it certainly came up as sermon material. There's a lot of interesting things. People like Paul Washer are part of the documentary, and other famous Calvinists. And they're very dogmatic that the gospel should be preached at every service, and that it's wrong to preach against sin, and it's wrong to try to motivate people. Moralistic preaching and motivational preaching is wrong, which that kind of shocked me, because I haven't heard really Calvinists say that before. But the reason why they say that is, well, if you're really saved, you're just going to automatically serve God. So that was really strange that they taught that, and we just kind of went through what they said and showed why it's false. But honestly, the sermon I enjoyed on Sunday, as much as I love to preach against Calvinism, and I do that often, I actually enjoyed preaching the sermon against drinking alcohol, and I refuted 10 popular reasons people give for social drinking according to the Bible, and I spent about 10 minutes explaining the process of how wine is made. There's actually 3 verses in the Bible, in the book of Proverbs 23, that really explain to you how wine is made, and I never really realized that, because I've never tried to ferment anything, so I don't have any experience with this, but it actually describes to you how wine is made. And so it's really interesting when you see that. I put up a post on Facebook, if you're friends with me on Facebook. I'm going to put a lot of clips from the sermons, which I don't normally do. And I refuted some common reasons they give. I'm putting up a clip on the wine on the lees, which that's a passage that really makes sense to me now. And just some other passages where they try to justify social drinking. Obviously, we are against drinking alcohol. We believe it's wrong. We believe it's a sin. And I refuted common reasons why they give to try to justify it. So anyways, that's what we preached on and everything. Things are going really well right here, right now. And, just continue to pray for our ministry. Just pray things will be opening up and everything like that. And anyways, thank you, and God bless.